So hi everyone, my name is Clara Aguilar. I am the marketing manager for Orders in Seconds and your moderator for this webinar. I'm going to be introducing the speakers and telling you all the goodies we have in store for the webinar. Today on the topic, say goodbye to manual paperwork, convert paper forms into electronic forms. All right, I see. Oh, thanks, Kendall, Pennsylvania. He says, sorry. All right, thank you guys. All right, so first we want to welcome everyone to this webinar. Today, as I said, you guys are in for a treat. Orders in Seconds has partnered with Kendall Kunz, the CEO and founder of Forms on Fire, the #1 solution for mobile form automation. In this webinar, we're going to be discussing the benefits of converting from paper forms to electronic forms and how it can speed up your processes, saving you money and creating greater efficiency for your business. So let's go and learn more about the speakers now. All right, so Kendall Kunz, the founder and the CEO of Forms on Fire, describes himself as the Seattle transplant, building the internet's answer to the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, which if we have the Office fans out there, you guys know exactly what we're talking about. I'm definitely one of those. He's a 5-time founder and business nerd with more than 30 years of experience in technology, sales, and automation, having held leadership positions across industries. Now he runs Forms on Fire, the #1 solution for mobile form automation. Forms on Fire gives companies their own custom apps with no coding required that gets rid of the inefficient manual processes, speeds up processes, and collects important data. All right, well, Kendall, thank you so much for being here today in this webinar.
Thank you.
Good, good, good. And guys, fingers to the camera. That's how whoever has their camera on, that's how we like clap, right? So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, and you guys can say welcome in the chat too, okay? All right, and now we also have Jamie Del Vecchio here. She's a senior partner manager from the QuickBooks Solution Provider Program. Jamie has been with Intuit for 17 years and has worked across multiple sales channels to drive QuickBooks awareness, partnerships, and profitability for the small to mid-market and for Intuit's strategic partnerships in that time. Jamie directly supports Orders in Seconds in our partnership with Intuit and will be assisting in answering all the QuickBooks related questions. Guys, you know Jamie's back. She was in our webinar last month and she did awesome. So welcome back, Jamie.
Good to be back.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. And now their co-host, Oscar Guerrero, founder of Orders in Seconds, who has 20+ years of experience in information technology within the financial and food and beverage industries. Oscar is a proud U.S. Navy veteran specializing in database systems and a New York Institute of Technology graduate with a BS in Science and Technology. He's taken the knowledge and experience he's gained over the years, right, and built his custom company, Orders in Seconds. As the president of Orders in Seconds for more than 15 years now, Oscar and his dream team have been empowering B2Bs with cloud-based mobile applications and services. So Oscar, thank you too for being here and a big welcome to everyone, right? Type welcome in the chat, guys. I see you, Frank. Thank you. Type welcome. All right. So let's get into the agenda today. Okay, first we're going to be going over, reviewing the Orders in Seconds of Forms on Fire partnership and what that means to new and existing customers, right? Then we're going to get into the frequently asked questions from our OIS customers to learn more, right, about Forms on Fire. Then you're going to be learning about the smart integration between Orders in Seconds, Forms on Fire, and QuickBooks. Then we're going to be going into a live Q&A session where you get a chance to ask questions specific to your business. So if you guys have any questions that come up during the presentation, make sure to type them in the Q&A section. And there's a little icon on the bottom of the Zoom screen. You just click that and you can submit your question. It's just easier so that we have all the questions in one spot, right, when we get to that part of the webinar. All right, and then lastly, make sure you guys stay till the end. We have a special gift for everyone who attended this webinar. So you want to make sure that you don't miss that. All right. So let's get started. All right, Oscar. Orders in Seconds, right, has partnered with Forms on Fire. What does this mean for our customers, new and existing, right? And Kendall, please feel free to like chime in, as well.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Clara, for that excellent introduction. And Welcome everyone to this webinar. My name is Oscar Guerrero, and I'm the founder and president of Orders in Seconds. Just a brief intro of what we do here at Orders in Seconds. We help product distributors process orders in seconds. Quick history about us is back in 2005, a cheese manufacturer company called us to see if we can come up with a better solution to be able to have their field sales reps to be able to send orders faster than the way they were doing it back then, which it was, a paper-based system where they were making a lot of mistakes in the whole process, and it was slow. And back then it was, mobile was just starting. So it is back, in plus 15 years ago, the mobile was starting, and that's when, we were one of the pioneers in this solution, helping wholesale distributors. So that's basically just a little bit about us. Now, I'm proud to say that Orders in Seconds and Forms on Fire, we have joined forces to assist some of our clients that are still using manual paperwork to eliminate that, illegible handwriting that, a lot of the people always make mistakes and data entry errors, because that was the #1 complaint that we got from our clients, saying that, the sales reps were writing one thing and then the person entering thought it was different. So a lot of mistakes. Additionally, clients will have a more convenient way of accessing and storing their forms electronically now that we have joined forces with Forms of Fire, as paper forms can be challenging to locate or can be misplaced. And we all have experienced that in the past, that, when you have a paper-based system, it's hard to find the information. So our promise for this webinar is to share the benefits of converting paper forms to electronic forms to help you save money, reduce errors, and increase efficiency by speeding up manual processes. Today, we are very honored to have a very special guest speaker, founder and CEO of Forms on Fire, and he will help us unfold some questions and headaches from some clients still using manual paper forms. Let us welcome Kendall Kunz.
Yeah, Kendall, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you for that warm introduction. I'm so delighted to be here, and just grateful for our partnership with you at Orders in Seconds. We're so grateful for our partnership with QuickBooks as well. We've been a QuickBooks user in the company, keeping track of our accounting, watching us grow from zero revenue to, multi-million-dollar company over the years. And we're just so grateful for both companies and the relationship that we have. And we're delighted to be here to answer questions that people have and show you how you can take your company to the next level by eliminating paper forms and moving to a mobile-based, cloud-based system to capture data for all the forms that you may be using paper for today. Companies as small as, the guy who comes to your house and services your furnace uses it, all the way to very, very large companies like Chevron and Phillips and Costco. These are companies that all use our platform, and we can talk more about the value that you're going to get by converting from paper to a mobile-based system today. So again, thank you. Very grateful to be here, and thank you for the warm introduction.
Thank you, Kendall.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And yeah, we're gonna get straight into the nitty-gritty of it, so Kendall can explain more about Forms and Fire. So our customers had frequently asked questions, right, regarding converting those paper forms to electronic forms. So we're going to go over these questions. Oscar's going to be asking Kendall the questions and providing a little bit of background. And then Kendall's going to go ahead and answer the questions. And then we're going to have Jamie join in with anything with the QuickBooks integration. We're going to have Jamie jump in at that point. So let's get started. Go ahead, Oscar.
Excellent. All right, Kendall. So this is the first question, and believe it or not, I really ask you to help us host this webinar because you see, we keep experiencing a lot of our clients are still doing a lot of manual paperwork, and when I see them for different operational processes, and when I see them still doing all this manual paperwork, I say it has to be a better way, and that's why I really, approach you and ask you if we could, could do this webinar. So the first question goes like this. Some of our clients in the wholesale distribution business are asking if you can provide more information about the benefits of switching from paper forms to electronic forms, since they use a lot of paper forms in their day-to-day operational processes for better controls and to reduce human errors.
Sure, absolutely. And the benefits are immense. But before we talk about the benefits of electronic forms, maybe let me describe some of the problems. And if these sound familiar to you, which they probably will if you're using paper forms, some of the problems with paper forms, and which is kind of perhaps the inverse or the opposite side of the same coin of the benefits. But paper forms end up, with significant data entry errors. People they often can't read the handwriting of those who created the form. Often the calculations are incorrect, and very frequently the fields aren't even completely filled out and they're missed. In addition, data in the paper forms is difficult to access. I mean, once you write it down on a piece of paper, there's no transfer of that data to managers or to coworkers. There's no audit trail. There's no consolidated data from one form to the next, so that you can't look at consolidated data. And one of the biggest challenges with paper forms is when they arrive back in the office, the administrative staff has to re-enter the data into a spreadsheet or a database to get that consolidated data. They often need to reformat the forms so that people can actually read them. And frequently people will bring in the forms and then they'll download photos. They'll give that to administrative people. Administrative individuals then are combining photos with those paper forms. They're converting them into PDF, and then they're filing them into Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox, or getting them somehow over into QuickBooks. And then they're distributing those forms to other people who need to see them. And, famed management guru Peter Drucker, he often said that you can't manage what you don't track. And that's the way it is with paper forms, because there's no follow-up, there's no analysis. And all of these problems add up to a loss of productivity, potentially reduced cash flow, non-compliance if you're doing things like safety forms or environmental forms or things that are promulgated by the government, and a potential loss of clients. And then also you get a major frustration. So all of these problems with paper forms can be resolved, and you can eliminate that frustration. That's one of the key benefits, but you can be in compliance. You can stop losing clients, and you can stop losing data and having that consolidated into a single cloud platform. So there's so many benefits that people get out of it, and the return on investment is just absolutely enormous. We'll talk about that hopefully today as well.
Excellent. So the question number 2, if we decide to switch from paper to electronic forms, is there any savings by implementing electronic forms?
Yeah, absolutely. So Forms on Fire, there's really 3 areas that you can look at in terms of savings. One is, and we have an ROI calculator on our website. So if you'd like to go to our website and figure out what your return on investment would be, it's like, how many forms are you filling out per week? How many people are filling out those forms? What's their hourly wage? Those kinds of things. How many administrative staff are recompiling, re-entering data for the paper forms? How much do they get paid by the hour, and so on? It will compute an ROI for you. But on average, in addition to that ROI calculator, we also have a form inside of our app. So if you get access to the app, you'll get access to that ROI calculator. You can use that to calculate your ROI. But on average across our clients, we're seeing a 70% or greater reduction in errors just by converting to electronic forms. This is a massive increase in productivity. In a lot of cases, you'll get a complete elimination of errors, because when you require fields to be filled out, when you have the rules set up in the forms, when you have the calculations set up in the forms, you can eliminate all of those errors. More importantly, what we see on average is for every license that people will get, and we're a subscription model, so each of your users have a subscription, but for every user that has a license on the system, we're seeing on average that they're saving 10 hours per week in the field or on administrative staff time saved per week, and then they're saving 11 hours in the field. It's a massive return on investment. So 21 hours per week on a monthly basis, something like 84 hours on average that they're saving. And just, yeah, the ROI is off the charts. I mean, it pays for itself in less than a month generally when you get up and running. We'll talk more about this, but in designing your forms, you don't need to be a programmer to design them either, because we have a complete no-code designer, and we'll talk more about how that works. Great question.
Excellent. So you know something, I can relate to you with this because we had a client at one point. We had a client that's still one of our biggest clients, which is Mars, and actually it was P&G that I think we did a case study where when they started using our mobile solution, basically they saved a lot on on photocopy and all that. That was about a good 80% of that they saved a lot, because they no longer needed photocopier machines and all the good stuff. And that kind of caught my attention when you do a lot of savings in here, plus all this other paperwork that basically companies can save is huge. And definitely that's why I'm rooting for mobile forms on fire in here, because it's really going to help a lot of our clients. And so this is really great information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question number 3, since connectivity is critical for field staff to stay in touch with the main office regardless of their location, can Forms on Fire be accessed using mobile phones and tablets?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, as a company, the entire application was built to be mobile first. So in fact, there was never a desktop application until after our mobile platform was designed and deployed. So on whether you're using iOS or Android or Windows, and whether you're using a tablet or a phone device, you can access the forms. And one of the real benefits of the platform and doing mobile forms is not just that it's mobile, but that it can be used both online and offline. And while LTE is becoming more prolific, Wi-Fi is being more prolific, and a lot of companies are implementing, even in their warehouses, they're having these private LTE systems, these 5G systems. Still, there are occasions where you don't have access to Wi-Fi, where you don't have access to LTE. A good example is in the renewable energy space, where a lot of our clients are using mobile forms to do quality assurance, to manage their projects in the field. I mean, when you're implementing or when you're installing a big wind farm, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no LTE out there. And so to be able to bring your entire database of all of the equipment that you need, all of the employees that you have that you may keep track of, and everything that you're doing from a quality assurance perspective, and do that offline on your phone, there's a huge benefit. And as soon as that iPhone or that Android phone gets access to Wi-Fi or LTE, then that data is immediately submitted over the network and into our cloud system. And if it's connected to QuickBooks or it's connected to any other system, those connectors just fire once they get to our system. So yeah, mobile first is a key tenet of our system, and the ability to work offline is critical.
Okay, excellent. So you see, definitely the offline mode is something that our clients are always asking for, because we know we have a lot of sales reps that, sometimes they go into these areas where there is really no signal, especially New York City. You get a lot of those, and then, they go into a freezer, no signal, or a basement. And so the offline feature is definitely going to be huge for a lot of our clients using forms. All right. Thank you. All right. So for question number 4, we have food manufacturing client who needs to fill out food and safety inspection forms, and they want to know if the Forms on Fire solution has this form type available. Additionally, they are curious if the solution includes other standard electronic forms out of the box.
Yeah, that's a great question. And so we have many different food companies, retail food, wholesale food, food manufacturers, food distributors, even farms. There's dozens of farms that use the application. And yes, food safety applications, and I would say inspections, checklists, health and safety reports, incident reports, audits, inventory, all of these things. We have over 200 standard applications in our catalog that you can install and get up and running. I mean, literally in minutes. You can get on the platform, you can take a look through the catalog, you can search through over those 200 applications, and you can install those. And when you want to change those to make slight tweaks to them, you can just put those in edit mode on the web dashboard, and you can edit those by putting different fields in there, making rules on fields. Once you get your QuickBooks Online connected to bring in your customer list or your employee list or your product list, whatever it is, and you can add those things to the forms. And if you don't have time to do it, we can help you do that. But if you look at the catalog, we've got physical inventory forms, inventory transfer forms, truck loading forms, payment reconciliation, food and health inspection and audit forms, OSHA safety forms, so many different things that we've got right in the catalog. Again, over 200 applications that you can install directly from the library. And those all come with your subscription. Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So Kendall, I think you had an example here, if I'm correct.
I do, yeah, actually. So if you look at a paper form, and go ahead, Claire, and bring up that paper form. This is typically what a paper form looks like. And this is how it works, is on the first step, you're taking this paper form and you're converting it into an electronic form. And this is an example of a timesheet, for example, a crew timesheet that's in the field. And you can install one of these out of the catalog. And if you click the next, you'll see what that looks like then on your mobile device. And this is on an iPad. So you're converting this into an electronic form where you're putting in a summary, you're putting in, all the information that you would capture in a paper form, but it's easier to enter all that information. And customer names is just a really great example. If you're connecting your QuickBooks Online to Forms on Fire, instead of, writing in what the customer name is, you're simply going to choose that from a drop-down box, perhaps do a search on it, put your customer name in there, have it put the customer address in there for you automatically, and not have to retype all of that. So the first step is to design that form into an app that you're going to be using on either your phone or your mobile or your tablet. And by the way, you don't have to be targeting a specific device. You just simply do the design once, and our system handles the rest. If it's iOS, it works on iOS. If it's Android, it works there. If it's a tablet or a phone device, it reconfigures itself so that it looks perfect on that particular device. Once the app is designed, then you design your output. Now your output report, and if you hit the next, you just click the next button there, you'll see that this output report for the daily crew timesheet, you can make it look exactly like your current report is today, or you can make it look even better. And the way that you design these reports is using either Microsoft Word or Excel. We're the only company in the industry that stands on the shoulders of all the work that Microsoft has put into making these applications so that your reports are beautiful And then those can be converted into PDF where they can remain in Word or Excel, however you'd like to deliver them to either your customers or someone internally, or to be dropped onto OneDrive or Dropbox or into QuickBooks and so on. So that's in general how you take a paper form and convert it over to an app and then an actual report. Thanks,
Okay,
Clara.
so this
Yeah,
definitely
you're
would be a perfect, I guess, solution for one of our clients in the beverage industry that they were asking me, well, I saw their process where they were loading their trucks and they had a loading sheet form, all in paper, right? And then basically they had a different form too. After the driver will go out and deliver the products, they will come back with another form to do the reconciliation of all the stops they made. And it was a manual paper form too. So this would be great if they can implement something like this.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. We have many clients in the distribution area as well. And all of those forms sound familiar, and some of those are even in the catalog already that they can install. And if you go to the next slide there, Clara, this kind of shows how it fits together. You've got the Forms on Fire cloud in the center. This is where you do all your design. This is where you add your users. Once a form is designed, this is where you assign it, which users get access to what forms. You'll connect your other systems on our cloud system as well. So data from your systems, be it QuickBooks Online or Dropbox or OneDrive, or if you're using Salesforce.com, for example, you can connect that. And then once you deploy a form, it ends up on a mobile user's app. And when they log in, they'll just see that form, which forms they have access to. They're just these little icons. So maybe they have one inventory form, maybe they have a reconciliation form, maybe they have a distribution form, an inspection form for food safety, or whatever it is, and they can just access those forms. As soon as they submit that data, it goes right to our cloud, and then will get pushed on to any of the other systems that you have connected to it. So that's pretty much how it works end to end on the system. And you can be up and running very rapidly as well.
Okay, excellent. So what would you say your onboarding process if somebody just looking to implement just a form for truck loading, about what would you estimate, how long will it take a company to kind of get on board?
Oh gosh, it really depends on how complicated the form is, but if it's in our catalog already, I mean, they can be up and running in a single day. If it requires some design, maybe it's a few hours that they spend in modifying the design to their liking. But oftentimes what people will do is they'll get up and running with some iteration of what their form looks like, and they'll make improvements over time. And you can do that while the system is already in production. You can be making those changes. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Okay, question number 5. Can you explain how productivity can be improved by using electronic forms compared to manual paperwork?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Oscar, this one, really, if you go back to that first slide, you don't need to switch back there, Clara, but we're seeing on average across all of our client base in terms of their return on investment, based on the number of users that they have, based on the number of hours that they spend capturing data in the field, and then reassembling all of those reports on the back end and distributing those forms to the people who need to see them. On average, they're saving about 21 hours per week between administrative staff and field staff. So it's a massive improvement. And even just a few hours a week, I mean, you pay for the system, over and over again. So the productivity improvement is great. And what we're seeing, especially with companies that don't want to add additional employees, but they want to expand, is that they're able to expand much more rapidly because they're capturing this data and people can do more work during the day. So they're getting more use out of their workers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this is an interesting one over here. Okay, for question number 6, I would like to include and introduce our third panelist to the webinar, Jamie Delvatio, and she's a senior partner manager from Intuit QuickBooks. And hi, Jamie.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me on.
And thank you for joining us during this webinar. Just a couple of questions before I ask Kendall the question about integrating with QuickBooks Online.
Sure.
What would you say are some advantages of using QuickBooks Online for small to mid-sized businesses?
I think this is a great question, and it's a good segue off of, the Kendall's question, right, that he just answered. So I think it's a really exciting data point. His application, saves users over 20 hours, right, a week or a month, or a week, I should say, because it's automated and because it's an online form. And I think that's one of the big points of QuickBooks Online as well. So, no one wants to get into the books. No one wants to, have to log into QuickBooks and do their accounting after a very long business day. But our businesses that use QuickBooks Online also save quite a bit of time. Now, they save about 11 hours per month in accounting just because of the automation that's built in. So you couple that up, right? You marry that up with forms on fire, orders in seconds. That's huge time saving. That's over 30 hours, right? Or more, right? 100 hours a month that users can save and being able to, have those two supported. But I think, the big thing is that it's web-based. And so with QuickBooks Online, it is online, so it's accessible anywhere. And that hasn't always been the case for QuickBooks, right? If you've been around long enough and you've used QuickBooks, you were probably on desktop for a very long time. And it was difficult to manage that with really great applications like Forms on Fire and Orders in Seconds, where users could access it anywhere. And then they physically had to go back into the office, right, to actually do their accounting. So the fact that it's web-based means that businesses can be very flexible, in how they operate, right? And they can't completely do everything in the cloud. It's also very scalable. So, user limits have always been kind of an issue with QuickBooks Desktop. With QuickBooks Online, we provide our users with up to 25 simultaneous users. So that means, they don't have to pay extra when they're growing and they need a little bit of extra help. And it's all pre-designed for you, right? So when you do have QuickBooks locally, there's a cost that comes in hiring somebody to install it, to upgrade your servers, to do all that. So it also eliminates really expensive IT costs that historically our users have had to pay because it's now in the cloud. You don't need to really pay, to have your servers and such, upgraded just to be able to support QuickBooks. And it's easy to get started, right? So QuickBooks Online is designed out of the box, and it can be very easily set up with your desktop user coming over to QuickBooks Online. All of your data comes over, or if you've got some data in Excel and in your head, that can be very easily entered into QuickBooks Online to get it started. So.
Well, Jamie, I can tell you this, that not only we Kendall and my company, we both integrate with QuickBooks Online, but we are both a customer of QuickBooks. So, that's to tell everyone that really QuickBooks is a #1 financial solution of their accounting system. It's really great. So, and now just one more question, Jamie.
Sure.
What is the meaning of the QuickBooks ecosystem?
Yeah. So you'll probably hear that a lot, right? QuickBooks ecosystem or QuickBooks Online ecosystem. And I think the first thing to acknowledge, right, especially coming out of the pandemic and everybody really switching and being forced to switch to the hybrid model is, long gone are the days of spending $50,000 a year on a really heavy duty ERP system, right? Because you needed a small handful of features that helped you with your forms or your inventory, right? Most of those applications, about 50% of those applications weren't being used. They were only being used for a specific handful of features, but they were very, very costly. So when we talk about, QuickBooks Online in our ecosystem, what we're really referring to is the teamwork that our family of applications provide, like Forms on Fire and Orders in Seconds, and services like our payroll processing and our credit card processing, to come together and provide our valued QuickBooks Online users with the ability to really create their own package, right? That specifically helps with the needs that they have without needing to pay $50,000 a year, right? You can do it for a fraction of the cost with QuickBooks Online, Forms on Fire, and Orders in Seconds. So, we get to, it's like Burger King, we get to make it our way now, which wasn't always the case. And so we're very, very proud of our QuickBooks Online ecosystem and family of partners like Forms on Fire and Orders in Seconds.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much. So now you see question number 6 will make more sense to everyone in the webinar. And Kendall, now that everybody has a better view of the QuickBooks ecosystem, now can you tell us what are some of the benefits of integrating with QuickBooks Online, and what are some of the forms that clients have integrated with in the past?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. And let me just iterate on something that Oscar mentioned, and that is that Forms on Fire uses QuickBooks Online for our business. So this is my 5th company at Forms on Fire, and we've used for, I think, at least 3 of the previous companies we've used QuickBooks. And as we started Forms on Fire, we were using QuickBooks Desktop. We switched to QuickBooks Online for 2 reasons. One is we needed access by more users. Only a limited number of people in accounting were using it. I wanted to be able to see real-time reports on my desktop. I couldn't do that without walking over to somebody else's desk. That was the first reason. But the second reason is because QuickBooks Online has a fully open API, and we needed to be able to integrate our transactions. Our transaction volume at Forms on Fire was, becoming so great that we needed those to automatically go in there instead of reconciling them, individually by hand. And because QuickBooks Online has an open API, we were able to integrate our billing systems from like ChargeBee, who's a partner, I believe, also with QuickBooks Online. They have an open API. Every transaction that comes through from a credit card goes through to that system. And so similarly, the way that Forms on Fire views the world is, since we have an open API and QuickBooks Online has an open API, we can get a two-way interchange of data going on between our systems. And so what you'll commonly see is companies who are using QuickBooks Online and using Forms on Fire is that through that open API, we'll be able to capture particularly things like customers and employees and vendors. All of that information can be brought over to Forms on Fire so that information can be used inside of a form. So when a customer is added to QuickBooks Online, it comes over to Forms on Fire, and then in all the forms where customer name is being used, they can use that in a drop-down or a search box to bring that information in so they're not having to re-enter it. And then similarly, when you're sending information back to the system, you can send things like, and a very common thing is to, once you get done with an inspection or you get done with doing something that you're doing in the field. We'll talk a little bit about, in fact, if you want to go to the next slide, we talk about a case study with this company called Great West Appraisal. And so what they do is they have an integration with QuickBooks where when they have a client come in, all the client names or the customer names are available at Forms on Fire. They select a customer name, they go out and they do an appraisal. And then when that information is captured, the appraisal report goes directly as emailed to the client. But information that is sent back to QuickBooks Online automatically, including both creating an invoice for the customer, so that invoice gets sent directly out to the customer so they can get paid on that. And if the appraisal is being done by a subcontractor, an actual bill is created in QuickBooks as well, so they can pay that subcontractor. And so there's no need for them to manually put all that information back in. In addition to the PDF appraisal going to the client in the bank, it saves the PDF over, and they're using Google Drive. If they're using OneDrive, they could use that, or Dropbox, things like that. So there's a bunch of information that they use. All of that integration and automation is in there, and they can do many, many more appraisals with fewer staff by having this automatically integrated instead of adding people. So that's a great case study on how that information gets transferred back and forth.
Definitely. Yeah. So I can see definitely automation is king here. So it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Okay, so I just want to mention we have about maybe a couple minutes for this question, and then because we're at 1:40 now, so we just got to keep track of the time. So we end within the hour. Okay, guys?
Thank you, Clara.
All right.
So
no problem.
Make it quick. All right. Question number 7 is mostly related to managing physical product inventory counts. How will QuickBooks Online inventory levels be updated using Forms on Fire?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So first of all, inside the catalog of pre-built forms, there actually is an inventory application where you can take physical inventory counts on our mobile app, right? And so when you bring in QuickBooks information, if you have all the product IDs from QuickBooks Online, you can integrate that with the product list in Forms on Fire. And when you're doing your physical counts, you can get an inventory level by location if you want. It depends on how you're keeping track of it. But that information, then when you're done capturing it in Forms on Fire and it's submitted, the integration can go back through our open API into QuickBooks Open API and update that inventory level. And so there are ways to do that. Using our app, and you can start with our pre-built inventory application, bring in your products. You can even bring in images of the products if you want to, and that way it's a little bit easier to identify them when a user is using the app and so on. And then you can send that information back to QuickBooks Online. So hopefully if there are people interested in that, we can talk about that and get online with them and show them how that can be done. It's a great question.
No, that's definitely a necessity out there. And so thank you, Kendall. And Jamie, just one last question for you. Will you be able to expand a little bit more on the QuickBooks Online inventory features and financial reporting that QuickBooks Online provides?
Yeah. So in this ecosystem, in this partnership ecosystem, QuickBooks Online is your source of truth, right? That's where your data starts, and that's where everything at the end of the day is managed, right? And so, like Kendall had mentioned, once the data gets sent back into QuickBooks Online is going to manage all of your inventory. Like we've talked about, right? The theme of the webinar today is automation and being able to access it anytime, anywhere. So I think that's one of the really exciting components of being able to manage your inventory in QuickBooks Online, is that you are going to have equally mobile access to all of your products and services and customers and vendors, right? So you can make those on-the-spot decisions, and you don't need to go back to the office or call the office to find out what's on the shelf to be able to, figure out which you can sell. And then, from a reporting standpoint, right, it's all recorded. And so we've got inventory valuation reports and stock reports and things like that. So you'll always know what's on hand at any time, and you can make those really quick purchasing decisions. Automated sales tax calculations now come standard in QuickBooks Online. That's not something that was previously available in QuickBooks Desktop, right? And so no matter who you sell to or where you ship to, QuickBooks is tracking that for you to help you stay, in compliance with that. And then, one thing that's only been available if you paid extra with QuickBooks Desktop that we just included with QuickBooks Online, because, of the value of it is the FIFO valuation method, right? So it helps our users follow GMP by using your oldest inventory first, and really just helps you record more accurate costs, which we're really excited to be able to bring in.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So Kendall, how easy is it to get started with Forms on Fire today?
Yeah, great question. So, So we'll talk about this a little bit at the end of the webinar, but everyone here is going to have an opportunity to get a free trial of our product, and you'll sign up for a demonstration of it. We'll get you set up with a free trial. We'll show you how to install, and we'll even help you install some of the pre-built forms directly, into your account, and how to modify those forms. And if you want help modifying those, we'll talk about how you can get assistance to do that, either through Forms on Fire, or if you have someone identified internally who's going to be making, some of those changes, talk to you about how to get training on the platform. A lot of our clients will learn how to do it themselves, but we also provide some free training. Those are things that we're going to be offering through this, but very, very easy to, and you can literally, once you get things set up, within less than an hour, you can be up and collecting information, on your phone using Forms on Fire and submitting that information. And so, we'll talk a little bit about that offer here at the end of the webinar, but we're excited to show you what it can do. And it's not that complicated to get set up and get going.
All right. Thank you, Kendall, for that. And guys, I just posted the link to a form right in the chat what you're going to do to take advantage of that free trial that Kendall was just talking about is you're going to go ahead, click that link, fill out the form, and then on the thank you page, that's where you're going to get the free trial link, okay? So this is part of your special gift, but we have more. So there's more. So make sure you guys stay, all right? We have more for you, but yeah, the link is in the chat. So go ahead and click that link and fill out that form to get your trial. All right, so now we just want to go over a little bit more about orders in seconds for the newbies in the audience who don't know about orders in seconds. So Oscar, can you help us out with that?
Yes, definitely. Just a very, this is a very high level overview of our order management solution in mobile cloud architecture, where you see the foundation for us is QuickBooks Online, where what we do right on the bottom left, you see QuickBooks Online, and what we do is we extract all the customers and products into our central system and in the middle of the picture, and then we push the information into the mobile devices of the sales reps placing orders or the customers placing orders. And then once they start placing orders, they send it back to the cloud, to our OIS central system, and then we send all the orders or invoices and payments back into QuickBooks for financial reporting and the rest of the processes that any company needs to do. So that's in a nutshell.
All right, thank you, Oscar. And then let's take a look at the integration, right, between the three solutions.
Okay, so yes, so this is it's a summary of the main functions for each of the integrated solutions presented today. And Open API was mentioned a few times over here, and that's what allows us to communicate between the QuickBooks ecosystem. And this is where on the left side is the electronic forms solution, the electronic forms on file solution to help you improve productivity and save money by replacing paper forms. On the right side, we have the order management solution from Orders in Seconds to help you automate the end-to-end order fulfillment process for wholesale distributors. And then in the middle, we have QuickBooks Online from Intuit for the accounting and financial solution, which is the financial source of truth for any business. So in simple terms, combining all these mobile and cloud-based solutions can help you make your wholesale distribution business run more smoothly and efficiently, which can lead to growth and success.
All right, thank you, Oscar. And now let's get into the Orders in Seconds ecosystem.
Okay, so again, this is a high-level overview of our Orders in Seconds ecosystem, and one of our dependencies again is QuickBooks Online. As you can see, we are a QuickBooks solution provider. We have been certified, and we are professional consultants that we can help our customers not only by implementing our solutions, but also we are knowledgeable of how to implement QuickBooks, so we can also help you. And just like how we integrate with Forms of Fire, right? Our ecosystem allows us to connect to other QuickBooks ecosystem apps that they work with, like Forms of Fire, True Commerce, Finale Inventory, Badger, and just this all basically allows us to automate and create efficiency and be profitable and to grow a company from small to mid-size, or small or mid-size to bigger companies. So again, this is, we just want to represent how we can connect to other solutions to really include all the necessary tools that your company needs.
Absolutely.
All right, so so this is all from my side of the presentation, and I would like to thank everyone for attending this webinar, and big thanks to Kendall, Jamie, and Clara for their contributions to making this webinar a success. Thank you all.
Aw, thank you, Oscar, for that. All right, guys, so let's get into our live Q&A now. I know I saw some questions come through, and I want to make sure that we get to them, all right? But if you have your questions now, make sure to put them in the Q&A. We can go ahead and read them out loud and share with everyone else, okay? So the first question is from Josiah Thornton. He says, I'm in the green industry and we are currently using a web-based CRM. Is Forms on Fire actively looking to work with other CRMs? Go ahead.
That's a great question. That's a
Mhm.
great question, Josiah. You know, it's possible that we already have an integration to that CRM, depending on what it is. We do have a standard connector through Zapier, which opens up over 3,000 systems, including, you know, probably over 100 CRM applications. So, you know, depending on what it is, if they have an open API, it's very likely that we can connect to them. If they're, you know, in some kind of a database, we absolutely can connect to it using a web service because that's an open API. So the best way is to, you know, if you do sign up for the offer that we're providing here, or you reach out to our support organization, you know, and tell us exactly what the CRM is, I'm sure we can get a specialist on the line and have a discussion with you about whether or not we have a connector to it, and if we don't, how, you know, what it would require to connect to it. Great
Gotcha,
question.
gotcha. Yeah, great question, Josiah. All right, next comes from Teresa. I'm using an existing paper contract. I'm looking for a program that can turn this into a mobile signable document. Would Forms on Fire be able to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you know, probably contracts are one of the main things that people will automate using our application, because you can sign directly on the device and you can capture a signature right on the device. We even through COVID, we created something called a contactless signature, where one side of a person is, you know, filling out a form and they're, you know, asking the client to sign it, and they just turn the phone like this, show the QR code, the other person with their phone captures it,
Oh,
they get on
wow.
their phone, they sign it and say sign, and then you can capture that signature into the system. But, you know, I think one of the things that I didn't mention earlier when we started talking about the benefits of using paper forms, and the benefits are, of course, you're saving time, but you're also taking advantage. And, you know, some of the advantages are these devices have amazing capabilities, right? Like you can capture locations, you know, where was the location for the pickup for this inventory, or where were they on site? What is the address of this site where we're working? And you can capture that directly online. Capturing, you know, photographs and even audio and video into a form, capturing signatures, adding sketches to your system, being able to scan barcodes and QR codes directly with the phone and putting that information directly into the form. Optical character recognition, so taking a photograph of something that's either handwritten or typed out, and then having that convert to actual text into the system so you can do something with it. Having gallery fields, and even being able to workflow those forms. So say I have a form where I'm capturing that contract, Teresa, where you're talking about, hey, I want a paper contract. So say I get that signed by a client, but I want to send that to my boss to have them approve it. You can have that automatically workflowed to your boss and have multiple steps in a workflow from these forms where people are just picking it back up on their phone, adding information to it, and then sending it on to the next person, or sending it back to the person who sent it to you. Lots of different features that you have available to you, in addition to the other things that we've been talking about. But that's a great one. So reach out to us. We can show you how to convert that paper contract quickly onto our platform and turn it into a mobile app, and then be able to send that directly to clients as well as to other people in the company. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, definitely fill out that form, Teresa, so I can help you out, okay? You can talk directly to his team. And then the last one is from Jessica. Can Forms on Fire integrate with other accounting systems such as Sage?
Oh gosh, this is a QuickBooks accounting webinar, and so we like to really promote QuickBooks. But listen, if you're already using Sage, yes, and in fact, we have a number of Sage versions that, you know, we've connected to. Reach out to our support organization. We can talk to you about how to connect to those Sage versions. And again, just in reiterating on the CRM question that Josiah asked, which was, do you connect to other CRM systems? We're connected on Zapier. I know there's a number of Sage systems that are available there. I also know that Sage can be a little bit of a tricky one because Sage put together, they acquired a lot of different accounting systems and they call them Sage. And so I know there's a big difference between Sage 100, Sage 300, and those kinds of things. Reach out to our support group or send an email directly to me and we can find out whether or not we can connect directly to yours. Chances are likely we can.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you for that, Kendall. And guys, you definitely stay till the end. We have a special gift of next. All right, guys, that's a thank you for everyone who attended this webinar. Kendall is offering a free 30-day trial of Forms on Fire app, right? Plus a 1-hour consultation for designing your first electronic form. So how cool is that, guys? And this way, you know, you guys can try it out and see if Forms on Fire is right for your business. So if you're ready to save time and eliminate all the paperwork and, you know, speed up all your processes, right, and become more efficient, you guys need to take advantage of this special gift, all right? All you guys need to do is, I just posted the link in the chat. Just click the link, fill out the form, and then on the thank you page, you guys are going to get a link to the free 30-day trial, all right? You guys are going to want to go through this link because on the website, I think it's only a 2-week trial. So make sure that you go through this link because then you'll get a 30-day trial, a little bit more time, and you get the consultation, okay? So somebody from Kendall's team will reach out to you and answer any questions you guys may have, okay? So make sure you guys get started with that. And again, that's in our chat. And for those of you guys too listening in, I'm going to be sending this information in an email. So don't worry. If you attended the webinar, you're going to get access to this link, but just in an email I'm going to send you, okay? All right. And then we also, if you guys would like to connect to the speakers, right, you guys can, you know, or have any specific question, you guys can email them or give them a phone call directly or connect with them on LinkedIn. I think this is the best, guys, you know, send them a connection request, let them know, you know, you were at the presentation, what you learned, and if you guys have any questions, right? So make sure, and again, for those of you listening in, I'll be sending that contact information as well. So thank you guys. We've made it just short of 2 minutes to 2. This is good, right? We stayed within our time. All right, that's all for today, guys. Thank you guys for everyone who attended, all the hosts, Kendall, Oscar, Jamie, all of the OIS customers, everyone who attended. We're gonna be having more webinars like this for our customers because we want your business to succeed, right? We have at least one webinar a month. And we have it on different trending topics, you know, that provide value to you guys, the wholesale distributors and manufacturers, because our motto is if you win, we all win, okay? So keep your heads up. And just to mention, the last month, if you weren't able to make it, we had a webinar with Jamie Delvecchio and QuickBooks where her and Oscar, right, they shared more about our collaboration and the benefits to our new and existing clients, right, with who are interested in QuickBooks Online. So if you missed that, we actually have that webinar on our YouTube channel, which I'll post that link right now to the chat as well if you wanted to go check that out. But that's all for everyone, you know, and thank you so much for joining us today again, guys. Have a great day, everyone.